sometimes I used to go to the Starve Rock market, you see, and sometimes women get emotional because some people buy prosciutto because it's a replacement for the baby gene of like how women like preserve their age because they eat prosciutto. It's a certain meat that they eat because they know that they want to maintain the wrinkles, you see. So some people get into makeup because their hair will get thinner because they have water from the cross, so they have to pay a certain more money to be from that economy so that they could be caught up to a social tribe. Because if people do low taxes, a lot of people from Germans, they don't like to pay a certain amount for things because they work, and they also pay big amounts for things that is not necessary when people try to get in access to the economy using that rent, you see. So some people will work for years and pay rent for $1,200 from their pocket, but someone will say it's from the DHS because they claim when the lady was going to school, she was even going to work with 5 kids, she didn't complain, but she also had a daycare, you see. So some people say they were getting paid from the daycare, but when it's me, I have my first apartment going to Paprika. It's South Shore, and I was working there with my cash, you see, paying the rent to the Indian lady before my second apartment after Huntington. And it's like I used to go to Hardee's and I used to go to Thomas Nelson. So it's like, I ain't race. So my sciences, I know, like I do like social sciences, and I also do political information sciences, including isolated mathematics. Dynamic of depiction of humans and technology could be mathematics on a paper outside of whatever frame is around that video inside a box of an area of information that could relate to a location of a series of videos of thoughts that's outside a different year and position in that year in a different location versus this age. And odd age, you can't get to an odd age from an even age, but you can't get to two sides of the year from 24 to 9 years to 2034. So sometimes in this ladies, they like we see, but you have to be like young and kid because like some women don't know how to produce because they like he's scared. But I don't want to send niggas off because something about it is a little fishy. Because if you have a girl, you be like, damn, it's like my own girl. But as far as the lawsuit for it, you would have to marry a girl with one piece, you see. So it's no sideways to it. But it's like I'm definitely not gonna downgrade. So some niggas could be eligible for Beyonce, but they might not be into Beyonce, you see. So if you put a tree, every tree that produces sap is a tree, but not every apple tree is in the same location as a sap forest in Skokie, you see. So people don't realize some people will go to an apple orchard. They'll try to build like oil orchard, but you have to be into that to go to Wisconsin. So people will get excited and say we'll go to Wisconsin, but we did that when we were young. So we might have had bought in apples, berries. We might even have bought in berries. So we might be past that because a bear will say, hey, I want to do it again, but like he'll say it got a little cold. So people won't mention that when people go to a high school, they'll say, oh, you have to drink the cold milk in Canada, but you have to be eligible. So some people claim that I'm not eligible for something, but they claim that when it's a young mixed kid and a light skinned black kid and it's Whitney Houston, I could have been a small headed nigga with a Drea Michelle and Mariah Carey and Drea Michelle ex Mariah Carey. But a girl will have a Sean McGee type of Whitney Houston, and she'll speak with her nose smelling like it has stuffy because it's not stuffy. It's a girl like Daisy, you see. So when girls is black, it's different than a Mexican Daisy because girls will name their kid Daisy to try to get the best of black skin girls because it's an easy fix to the community of the terrain of different political historical figures who have different thoughts on race and domain because it might get into a debate on that region and area of relation to someone who has a kid. And what if you had a kid in Azkaban but you weren't an Indian? You would have to name it A for Apple. What if you had a kid in Skokie but you didn't have a black American girl? You would have to name it D for Daisy Devil. So if you had a kid in CTC Leicester and it wasn't American, you would have to name it D3 Daisy 5, you see. So if people have a box, they'll say, what if I had a Indonesian American, but I had to name it Mexican for Swedish? It would have to be A for Asia, Daisy, you see. So it's the first phonetic that comes after the name before the relation to the family outside of the individuality of the girl. That's not a video. This could be a girl, this could be a girl, this could be a girl, but it could be different if this was a different girl, this was a different one. It could be the trifecta, A, B, C, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, you see? So what if I put a frame and it was in order outside the alphabetical, but the name I'm talking about, this is P for paint, this is big for mechanic, and this is red for solid, you see? So why would it people take need the time to digest what I said in the order that it comes? Because I know the patterns of my mind that relate to the film of construction of a woman that doesn't want to be recorded. But if it's put in a frame, this would be the moon, it would be the planets, it would be Pluto versus Nefertiti. This might be the Jasmine before the Veronika. SS Navy has a different opposite of a black color. Someone might name the kid Black Pearl or Daisy, something about Nicole or Marissa, or something about Vanessa, or something about a Ruth or a Ruby. So all for red is like black, like dark, but it's still solid, you see. So if someone might get offended if they go to Skokie and they have a bunch of names, but they have no money, they have no resource because they have property that could be seized, that could take away their name of what is related to this pink one versus the Pluto, this black one versus a young kid, and this one versus a kingdom, because it's solid gold, solid red, would be outside of the same years of New York, California, 1800 Skokie, 1800 Jericho, 1800 Armitage, 1800 Illinois, 1800 Chicago, all in the same box. Outside of 3 names for this one after this one, 3 names for this one after this one, 3 of number 3 this one before this one, 3 kingdoms of that. This could be related to 300 colors of processing and someone's thoughts hanging on the wall. 3 names would be Reeve, Christmas, Easter, and this one would be a different traditional related to a girl who has like a summer or a red January or a half of November, and this one could be related to Vanessa, Veronika, and Jasmine, and then the third name woman might be beginning A on top of the list, or it might be bottom and below a different set of names after 2020 and the time after European Giselle in 817 and size of 2004, different than a different location. So some women do have a lot of power because they feel, yeah, some black women produce feelings in men that other women don't create. So a girl with a small head, she'll try to use black woman's identity to make a scam of using those powers to get to a level, because a girl would name her baby Franco and Frankincense because he is, you see. Now sometimes when niggas get to America, like people with blue eyes, they can't see me because you have to be like a white boy with light white eyes, this light blue named Frankincense, you see. So that's how people, what it takes to see my eye. So to see my eye, you have to be Shamar Moore with mixed with Nicole Every Parker, 300 kids that could beat Bow Wow, 300 kids that could beat Lonzo, 300 kids, you see. So sometimes people will try to make a name like, Ivo versus Lonzo, Carmelo versus Melo. They were born in actually 2000 when people weren't even in the NBA. So some people might have been born the year that someone got into an NBA star, but someone will say, what about the other children? What about Michael Jordan? What about Will Smith? So he's named Will, but it's not like light skin Thunder 300 6'2" mountain rocks. So sometimes when people name Pokemon, people will be named Pikachu, and it will be alpha phonetics of names that relate to different terrains and characters of someone who says they can't deliver a baby because the people might not have money, and science is related to a deliverance of a baby that might relate to spiritual connection to God. And the names in the Bible, where someone might name the kid a Bible name, but they don't want to do what it takes. They might be endangering someone's bakery or endangering someone's other time that could relate to someone in the spirit. Speaking of Moses, descendant E, David, descendant E, because a lot of the people in the Bible versus the Greeks and ancient kingdoms of prehistoric times in America and ancient times versus prehistoric times, that might mean something different for different names related to civil in Illinois versus state in ancient, that could relate to a name inside of children born before the Bible times or Greek times or ancient America that would have a different phenomenon of the mass names in history. Because what if someone named their kid George? What if someone named their kid Moses? It wouldn't be a political date unless they started entering the terrains of where people will say Germans versus 13 colonies, Chazelle, Wayne's versus Colorado, and then foot versus altitude, that some substances or solutions don't work for people, but they don't do science because God fixes it. But some people will get a stingy and say, why is it that I have to fix things? Because they claim that when my science was working, they tried to destroy it and say that I went to the public train because they said that I didn't go to the mountains because the police were trying to attack me in Job Corps. Because when I was doing my sciences, they said I couldn't continue because they claimed that they were in secret when they attacked me in 2004 before people existed. But the 90s was after Skokie claiming that they could hide in secret because I couldn't have a kid, because at the time when they locked me in the psych hospital, they claimed that I couldn't prove my belief about God and sciences because they didn't exist at the time. People existed before them in the crossroad 4442 across the street for UPS delivery on the building built after Curry, Colorado, after relate to a building versus ideology of a record of a map of things inside the calendar versus closed BK didn't happen before 2020 Skokie or 2004. There might be a closed YMCA or opening of Walgreens around the area that reminds me similar to something that might have moved when they moved to Dunkin' Donuts, saying that I couldn't remember the location of a lot of 7-Eleven workers because they claim that when I was doing my corporation, they try to say that I couldn't recover my Google account because they say that they wouldn't help me because they say that I'm ahead of the game because if someone asked me if I have a desktop, they claim that they could do some type of secret access, but they're not the top manager when they say that I can tell the difference of someone who could speak 3 languages versus someone who says, oh, they want to try to say that they want to put a boundary around my resources and my simplicity that relates to my size and race and ethnicity at a young age of 2004 before 2008 Walgreens beauty products that relate to, well, you still have to show respect for people. You still have to show respect for humans. But what if someone like in the psych hospital with crappy doctors, but they claim I couldn't speak up because they claim they were some type of intelligent human resource, sociological scientist that wouldn't give me benefit because they claim when I was homeschooled, they say that other people can't replace them with how they get their money because they claim their organizations was not related to an area that they say that they did exist in secret with people before them at White's Hospital versus Third Road after different place that they say, why would you say that a woman with blue eyes is not pretty unless she's not the lady from Babysitters Club, a different blue eyes, you see? So someone would say, I have blue eyes, I do it easy. But someone would claim that they try to do something easy like someone with blue eyes because they're Muslim, but they say that a young man might want to date an American and not a Muslim. They want to date someone who's not religious, but some white woman might be a Muslim. But why would you be a Muslim if you're not married to someone who might have been from a church where people tried to bring war in secret on a young man when he almost died in a hospital when the man had his weapon when he stole the boy's notebook, and you claim that all his stuff that he had to place in different places is not because he had to protect his belief in woman and God? Because yeah, someone will be pretty, but unsurety will be, yeah, a girl could beat Rito and it's a beautiful thing, but a girl will say, hey, I could get a baby named Maurice, I could get a baby name thing, but not if it's the church and I don't have men and I don't have nobody to see. So sometimes when women see, they'll be like, oh, it's God because my size. But sometimes like females will say we see because like women will say, why can't Ivan? Because like a girl could get people named Maurice with size like blue eyes, but like women will be like into God because they'll be like, hey, I don't want to get to things that I don't understand and don't see, you see? So sometimes like a woman could have a baby, but like what if she could have $1 million and to have 3 babies with blue eyes? So people would say, but what if she kind of liked someone who she was like, oh, I like the nigga more than I like money, but not when he does the economy? Because what if someone was saying, I'm going to name this Maurice, but this was from the company Maurice, but this was the same thing of different things? People would say that they want to make something completely the same from years of difference. So this computer is a different one than the one I bought in 2020, but it's the same make and model. But how would it be the different through the Microsoft on here and the different login that might have when I log onto the Microsoft, it might not have my Google account linked on that Google when I have it on inside the browser website and not inside the operating system of the hard drive, you see? So sometimes people will be like, oh, how do I make a hard drive and an operating system? Because some things appear for airline pilots because Windows is linked to Indians behind the operating system, as Google is linked to Indians in front of the operating system, that relate to people trying to scam people, saying that they can't make a resource center because when I go to Target, this has no political ties to the products that I buy there as a relation to the law. When someone says that I can access that through an organization to that brand of products because someone's buying it on American soil, but someone's trying to scam people through a passive market where people could buy these things in eBay, the same products that were from 1950 before 2004 video games are in the same box as things from video games from 2017 and the 2009 2000s. That could something, someone being a 14 in 2009 could be a different language than someone who's 14 years old in 2011 at a different kingdom of things that people were saying relate to them in the history of the Bible, and kingdoms versus America and kingdoms in the law, you see. So sometimes people be like, what do I do with all this information? Should I get a baby? Should I move forward? Sometimes when God has a purpose, people look at the information and say, I can't allow things because it's Sunday. Today is God's day. So when people didn't mention Jesus and his intelligence when he was a Hebrew mixed with Moses in the times of Israel in the same box of that land when they didn't leave to America. But Noah, he rowed a boat that people don't know where he was located in, with Jonah when he was spit up from a whale, but he was still in the area of Jerusalem related to Nineveh that he walked to. You see, so sometimes he is God because it's Bethlehem and Jerusalem is like the same as Hebrew versus Israel, and then the Jewish versus there's different names and languages where people will say we see because a Jew is from Jerusalem, but if you find a Hebrew from Bethlehem, it will make a certain way of God. So sometimes when people will say if you put Moses and Samson, it's the same as Abraham Lincoln and George Washington because they're great and they form first their man. They're not homosexual, so they love woman and they love the domain that God gives them. When there's a difference of a Roman Chun-Li versus Cammy, some people do have political similar thoughts where they'll be like, I can't name my kid anything under that someone from another tribe. What if a white person try to name their baby Ethiopia, but then they try to put it in a movie or even put it in a video game system? It would be offensive. But if someone named their kid Maurice, it wouldn't be offensive to a tribe because someone might have God when they might want to live a peaceful life and go to the bakery, but they might want a little opposition because they'll be like, I need transactions of candy bars, American candy, American stores. So what if someone was saying that American was such a great economy, which it is, lemonade, but they wanted to make it into like a Dutch candy named Orange, a Dutch orange candy would change someone's behavior, you see. So sometimes when I started going to the corner stores, I got the orange, they was like, it was nasty, but they don't see in secret because some woman that like me, because like the candy bar, it has to, for a time in someone's life, for someone to make a new candy bar, they either have to have a kid that is like the same thing. So God says, be fruitful and multiply, because like nobody likes kids with blue eyes because they try to individualize people without brown eye people from Russia as taller than the white people with blue eyes who play baseball and are from fields that's different than Skokie and the corporate from 2024. You see, so some people's 2024 might be a Hebrew 2024 influence, Earth Globe from Galileo, Ninja Turtles from a different time. So people could be buying the same Ninja Turtle game from a different location, from a old Nintendo system that's different than Xbox, Halo, with a different area code inside the 5 characters that come from different states, 5 different states inside the 7 zip codes that might be located to apartments outside of a building or address related to that economy of location, and different products in the same video game system versus a different character that relates to a different type of ping intelligence of Wi-Fi and satellite codes of people and human beings, you see. So eventually when I do my video, buying something from Target is good. It's like getting a danger, but for a girl to like say I don't want that, it's even better, you see. So sometimes it's like wrestling with a woman, but what if a girl came with an army coat and she had more German in her, because German's favorite color is green, blue, and light colors, you see. So people would like things that's like Virginia, they like Huntington, areas around YMCA, because they like lighter babies. But some people have like things like Indian corporations around Skokie with weird names, because it's not like Google. It's like Indians, they do speak different languages of intelligence. So there are different languages in the DHS system as well as different the Microsoft system. algorithm. If you put your location of something different in Google, how would it affect that phone and the location of different economies of the address of the location of that phone through the CMOS versus the location of the phone of where it was bought at, go to a combination of how it's a pentacurial of how the information is definitely different, because some people will break a Wi-Fi with an X video because they'll have different pings in the video related to why would someone be a black man but they wouldn't watch a music video of someone singing, but you're just a police officer who has needles and donuts, but you don't have no belief in God, art, love, age, time, pillows, woman, singing, art, and church. You love God, but you don't go to church for a race of tribe of how people who were in military, who are in line for things, is ranked in a certain way, that the church is related to Americans who have processes of leagues and stage of tradition and how things are done. So that's how it goes. So sometimes people, they're like, sometimes what works for me when I seen the girl from Destiny from the library that's also related to an end of lady. Sometimes Destiny age 14 could have been opened at a Liberty Liberox 2004 Target product. So when people say that there might be a girl who I always see like a doppelganger, what if spiritually someone seen a doppelganger of someone and they was like, oh, I can't date them because it's a doppelganger. That's funny because this guy on this Mac attack, I'll see her 3 times and it's like different, so I feel bad for the girl, but I'll be like, oh, she sees because she has to get her weight up. So some women are named a baby where they raise their child knowing that it's their spiritual baby, you see. So when people say that it's God, it's like Brittany can even breed Jasmine because she's a multiple of Jasmine in the future of the spirit of the past. So if you put Jasmine in Trinity, you get a passive kingdom. But what if someone came from a new kingdom that was prophesied from a newer thing, even though it was lesser from the old kingdom, it was prophesied as powerful newer, that someone from the past was trying to get access to that kingdom, but they couldn't get that spiritual transaction of a little bit different will mean a big difference, because the mother will be its simplicity. It doesn't need a combination of Von Steuben outside of Trinity and a certain board club library Gill Park burning buildings. Sometimes when people say, we see like some people are smart because they know how new things come in the economy. Yeah, men exist, but a woman might say, hey, I want my pencil to be in this windowsill because I don't ever want to have to go through 1,000 thoughts to return it. Because some men claim that they knew the kingdom before the kingdom, but other people claim that a little bit difference, and a man is really intelligent on his eye view of humans and statistical science of where he comes from spiritually, and not just through an economical realization of the environment and sciences that comes through a political correction of things that pop up in the world, different spiritual kingdoms of God, you see. So sometimes if I was a man, I would say, yeah, like cartoons and merchandise. But if it was a girl, I don't understand why I was still like a girl if I just said that I like something else. And when I was, my mood and my transactions was different of what I like. So sometimes when it's woman, they make noise and like it could mean a lot of different things at a time. Well, people like this guy because like sometimes people be angry because the girl, if she could beat Chris Brown, she could beat people in a black people battle. So a lot of these women, people be like, okay, you get it statistically, but what if these girls were eligible for kingdoms or suburbs that brought airline into a navy? Like what if the airline turned into a navy and it turned into like a Starve Rock where people were trying to be airline pilots using Starve Rock, but when an airline pilot goes to Starve Rock, it might be like turned into a kingdom, you see. So people will be like, why don't you just ride down to Wisconsin under Starve Rock or go to Chicago under the North? You would say, or the East to the thing, because it's like, what if the police come? What if people say he has an illness and say that they want to lock me in the psych ward with the ambulance because they claim that vehicles cost $17,000, and if I might have to get skinny again because if I go 2017, like what if a girl was like, I don't want to get married because she started getting fear because a girl was young, because girls want to have an airline. What if a little airline pilot was actually a big thing? What if all these Indian airline pilots, when they were certain age, they were like more successive than an elementary student in America at the time? The political debate of alphabet middle ideology of science in America was a mid-age 40-year-olds at technology systems in America. That's different than a subsequent elementary school uh, 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 student. That's different than a president who was already from 1950, died in 1990, before other presidents still alive after 90-year-old people in 2014 who were already in 80s, a different age, before different children were from different universes outside of this area and outside of this time when I placed Mount Toshiba after it was after placed in Germany before 2004, in between different items of elevation of Wisconsin and different individual states versus people who do things in America to make a collection of letters and states to the same thing in a universe of a box outside of the 4 years of 2016, 2004 versus a high 2012 and a 2016 low 2004 versus a high Tokyo, inside different ends of 5 boxes of 3 and videos of 2000 videos after return payment, after 2001, when they say you don't want a baby, you don't want God, but you go to look for Trinity because she has hands of Mother Mary, that she might turn into a Catholic to prove that she can catch one from her domain of what she professed that came from her spirituality when a man is alone, but he doesn't want a girl because he's just unsure if he likes video games or plants or sciences more than economical science of technology and pillows and merchandise that affect a simple cheap pillow that is sold, that someone might like something a little bit different than someone saying they're entering people's domain scientifically that doesn't relate to a spiritual connection of individuality difference than others who claim they try to destroy a young man and his life processes in life because when he was young he wanted to stay young, but they claim he had to do what it takes to get to a certain age when they try to give their people stuff that they claim didn't belong, trying to link people saying that they can't be linked because they knew the difference of taxes and taxonomy that they say it doesn't belong to people.